Hey everybody, today I want to talk about this phrase that you might have heard, you've probably heard. A lot of people use this in families where abuse took place and also in society when there are things that people don't want to see. That phrase is ignorance is bliss. Now, there is some truth to that, but mostly this is just a giant lie and, in a way, kind of like gaslighting, because then you never face the truth if you go with it. So why is there some truth in this, the fact that ignorance is kind of bliss? Well, if you go back to the point where, you didn't know what was going on in your abusive relationship, whether that was an intimate partner or a situation at work or in your family or, some other situation in your life. And before you realized that you were being abused, before you understood what was going on, was there bliss? Probably not. There was probably a lot of pain and torture and stuff like that, but to a certain degree, it was blissful because you didn't have to do anything about it. If you didn't know that there was a problem, you couldn't solve it. You couldn't do anything to address the problem. And so, because of that whole thing where the subconscious, which is 90%, approximately of the human consciousness, 90%, the subconscious, it's guiding us in life. It's guiding us toward the familiar. It's guiding us toward the known, even if that familiar and that known is awful, but it's what we've always known. The subconscious continually seeks out what's familiar because it knows how to respond to that. And so if you got into that comfortable numbness of the abuse at a certain point, where we all were at a certain point, it was comfortable. It wasn't happy. It didn't feel awesome, but the fact that it was familiar felt comfortable. So in a way, there was a little bit of ignorance is bliss because you didn't have to take action. You just went with it and kept doing it, even though it didn't make you happy. So why is it not true? Because telling the truth is love. Knowing the truth sets you free. Knowing the truth is empowering because when you know what's going on, you can do something about it. So think about that moment when, somebody mentioned the word narcissist, or somebody mentioned psychological abuse, or you were surfing through the internet and somehow something popped up and you saw this article or this video that was explaining like exactly what you went through or huge key pieces of what you went through, and you were like, oh my God, right? And it was like 1,000 miles an hour, at the speed of light even. Your thoughts are going through your mind and everything is like starting to like take place, and you're like, oh my God, that was that, and that was that, and that was that. And you see the big picture patterns and it's starting to make sense. Like maybe if this is something you went through your entire life, like suddenly your whole life is making more sense. And that truth is empowering. That truth is liberating. But the thing is that you still have to take action. You still have to make changes. It might be you have to take immediate, change to get out of your physical surroundings for your safety. It might mean that you have to plan for that. It might mean that you're just starting to realize, and it takes you a while to realize that you really do need to get away from that because that is a situation of inevitable harm. It might be that you're down the road and you're out of the situation, but you're still not out of the mindset. You're still not out of the old mental patterns that are keeping you stuck and paralyzed in the past. Right? So finding out the truth, it comes with a responsibility and a right. The truth is like, it's a right to know. Like you have the right to know what's going on. You have the right to the truth. You have the right to speak your truth. It also comes with this responsibility, which is knowing. And when you know, then you have to do something about it. You can go back to sleep, and try to go back to your life the way it was before you found out the truth, but that's not going to go so well because that awareness is already changing things. It's like in quantum physics. Look up the double slit experiment. They discovered that the observer affects the experiment. Right? Because a photon, which is like the smallest particle of light, a photon is both a wave and a particle at the same time. It is a wave of infinite potential until something observes it, a camera, a human eye. When there is an observation, that wave becomes an isolated particle, one possibility out of infinite potential. So when you bring that awareness into your life, when you realize what's going on and you're educating yourself, you're finding out more, you know you're in an abusive situation, or you were, or you had been your whole life, that awareness is already starting to change things, right? So, in a way, this whole life is symbolic, kind of like a dream. And in the movie Inception, at a certain point in the dream, right, when they become aware of what's happening and time is running out, the whole dream starts to collapse. Like everything starts to fall apart when the dreamer is aware that they're dreaming and aren't in control, right? When it's just like it's out of control and, don't understand what's happening, and there's like this shock and this fear, everything starts to collapse around you. And there is that point, once you realize that you're in an abusive situation, you have that awareness, it's like the whole situation starts to implode. Right? Like if you're in a business, something horrible sometimes could happen. Like your business partner deceives you and betrays you, and everything falls apart and your whole life gets put on a different path and you change. Or you're in this abusive marriage and then like some kind of like catastrophe happens at home, and so like you have to like move and things start to change, or you lose things, or someone dies, or just like some health crisis can happen sometimes. Like there's all sorts of just almost, it seems like random things that happen, but these are synchronicities, these are messages from the universe, trying to lead you in the direction of your destiny. You still have to take that action, right? The universe just makes it more uncomfortable for you. So once you have that awareness, it's no longer bliss because you do have to do something with it. The truth will set you free. It will liberate you from that pain. You still have to take action forward, up and out of that. And so that's why it's both truthful and a total lie at the same time. And that's why once you become aware of what's happening, once you become aware of that abusive situation, you need to start taking action to help yourself. Start planning to take action to get out of there. Start creating new boundaries around yourself, start protecting yourself, start changing the way that you're interacting with those narcissists in the meanwhile so that you can get out. All of these things are important to do because, like I said, everything will start to implode on you. Like the whole situation will start to fall apart as if it were a dream, very subtly at first, and then suddenly it seems like your world is caving in on you. If you've gone through an experience like this, something happened, maybe you realized you didn't take action right away, something started happening with your health or your home or some situation in your life, let me know. Write something in the comments, if you've noticed this happening, if you've noticed the shift, and what happened from when you were ignorant, not knowing that you were being abused, not knowing what was happening, to like now understanding what happened, understanding that you were or are being abused, and how that's changing inside of you things, how knowing that truth is starting to change things. So write that in the comments below. I really appreciate it. Please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the page Inner Integration on Facebook so you can stay updated on these messages. And if there's something I can help you with more personally, feel free to check out my website. You can get email readings for only $15. I'll answer a question, a concern, an issue that you have. There's like a whole little form you fill out and you give me some background information and stuff that helps me like understand what's going on. I give you some suggestions on that particular issue to help you get some clarity and some forward movement. If you want more deeper work, we can do one-on-one sessions on Skype. These are personalized strategy sessions, and you can book those on my website as well. That's really powerful for understanding what happened, how it happened, where you're still stuck, and creating an action plan to start taking steps to move forward now. I can help you create this and set this up for you so you can start putting this into action and start changing your life. I'm sending you all a big hug. I'll see you soon.